The game I'm exhibiting here for the festival it's called Ulak-Tartysh. There's both the cabinet itself, the physical game, and then the kind of the story that makes up the whole piece. I had a backstory about how I was trying to import a Polski Fiat, a Polish-built Fiat, and I had an importer guy who said he was going to be able to get me one, and we had an arrangement, and the whole deal fell through. But as a way of making it up to me, because I'd been talking to this guy for months trying to get this car, as a way of making up to me, he had this old arcade machine that was sitting in the back of a warehouse, and there was some empty room and a container that happened to be coming anyway, so he just threw it on there and sent me an email and told me to go down to Long Beach at the port and pick something up, and I found this crazy old arcade machine, and then I fixed it up, got it to run on, American Current, and that was it. That's the story that I stuck to, and still stick to. And I mostly kept up the hoax. But if I kind of had a rule, if someone asked me directly if it was a hoax, I would just tell them. But if they didn't ask me that directly, I would just play along. The name Ulak-Tartysh actually references a sport played in Kyrgyzstan and a bunch of other places in Eastern Europe, and it's basically polo, but instead of a ball, they use a dead goat carcass without a head. On the internet, you can find a lot of Soviet-era, not a lot, but somebody's found a bunch of Soviet-era arcade machines, and I always found them fascinating. I love them. They're very different than the U.S. machines. The technology's a little cruder, so they have to be more creative, and I just find that very interesting aesthetically, and they excite me a lot more than most arcade machines do. So I liked them so much, I wanted another one, and I wanted to have access to one, but since I don't, I made one up. What I tried to do was imagine what an arcade game might be like made in the more rural parts and for a more rural Soviet bloc audience in about the early 80s. So I figured they'd probably do some kind of sport or activity that the people are used to. That's why I picked Ulak-Tartysh, and also because it's gross and weird and it's polo with a dead goat, so that's already fun. And then all the cabinet art is, I used Cyrillic text everywhere I could. And it was very hard, actually. I couldn't find a full Kyrgyzstani dictionary anywhere, so I had to go to websites and find bits and pieces. And I changed the little coin slots so they said 15 kopeks. I found the location of the city most likely to have made it, which would have been Malusilu, I think it's called, in Kyrgyzstan, and I used that for all the copyright notices, and I found the badge of the military electronics factory that may have been most likely to actually build it, and I put that in the corner, and I wrote in Sharpie like some Cyrillic text in the back, and I have a fake dummy motherboard with some chips that I wrote in Cyrillic on, so I tried to sell it as much as I could and try to bear a fair amount of scrutiny, although if you're really looking and you know what you're looking for, I'm sure you could figure out that it's, a hoax.